We have large land positions next to big companies, and where our goal is to polish and bring forward a level of interest by these producers to invest. And so when you look at the Eau Claire property, you've got the Eau Claire resource. Not only do you have Percival that's been turned into a maiden resource, but you have Serendipity. We've added a huge resource update last spring to the Eau Claire. We're at almost 1.9 million, and more importantly, it's become more economic. And now you have exploration upside. And so Serendipity is the first one we went out to, and we've got more than a dozen more in the property across 55,000 hectares.
The Financial Survival Network. Now more than ever. The Financial Survival Network.
And welcome. This is Financial Survival Network. I'm your host, Kerry Lutz. We are sitting down for a sponsor update from Fury Gold Mine CEO Tim Clark and Chief Geologist Brian Atkinson. Great to have you both back on the show. Hey, we got some great drill results. So, Brian, let's talk about these results. So what do you think the significance, 12.16 grams per ton, over 3 meters, and what does it say about the overall potential of the Serendipity prospect?
Thanks, Kerry, and great to be back. It was a great first sort of pass out there, Serendipity. We had some biogeochemistry anomalies above it. We liked the geology that was underlying it and the geophysical signatures that we were seeing. So we went out and we had a small drill program out there this summer, and we had some good success. And in a couple of holes, they're spread over. We drilled over 5 kilometers of strike length. Our 2 hits are 2 kilometers apart. So there's another meter at 5.76 grams coming out in that news release as well. And then the 3 meters at 12, sort of around Serendipity proper is, it's a lot to digest and some new hits, new discoveries. So, it speaks to the overall potential of the area, and we've, and the effectiveness of our biogeochem sort of geochem pass over top. And what's important there is we've done it elsewhere, and we've got a lot of targets built up with that. So now that we've proven it up at both Serendipity and Percival, we're a lot more confident going out and targeting off of that biogeochem survey.
All right. So you mentioned that the 2 significant intercepts are separated by 2 kilometers. What do you think that indicates about the size and scale of the mineralization system there?
Yeah, don't know yet. To be honest, it's a really strong, as are most orogenic gold systems, it's got a strong structural component on the controls. We're close to the shear zones. In the past, we focused around the Canard deformation zone that runs along the southern part of the property, but we recognize the second set of deformation zones up to the north and running along the eastern side of the Eau Claire property, the Hashimoto deformation zone. So we targeted around there, and these are deep-seated regional structures that are key for orogenic gold systems. So there's a lot more work to do out there. But with the structural focus and having the overlay of the biogeochemical anomalies on top of it, I think we're going to have more success out there for sure.
Hey, so Tim, can you give us an idea right now of where Fury Gold Mine stands, where you're heading, and what you see for 2025?
Oh, no, that's a good question. I think my thesis has always been to make Fury Gold the best in class in the junior sector as a up bull market starts to take effect. And I think the bull market's here. I think look at the gold price right now, and what these big producers are doing right now is paying off debt. They're going to look at maybe increasing their dividend a little bit or buying back shares. But as soon as they're done with that, they're going to start looking to spend that money on buying assets because they're rolling over in terms of production, and they've got to find new exploration sites. And the junior space has had very little investment over the last decade. Most of their exploration has been around the existing mine to keep those going. But we're sensing, and when we went out to Beaver Creek, was the amount of producers that are looking at new assets is phenomenal. It's a huge uptick. We had some good investor meetings, but it was dominated by these producers looking at us. And what I look at it as Fury is we have large land positions next to big companies, and where our goal is to polish and bring forward a level of interest by these producers to invest. And so when you look at the Eau Claire property, you got the Eau Claire resource. Now you have not only do you have Percival that's been turned into a maiden resource, but you have Serendipity. And so we've added a huge resource update last spring to the Eau Claire. We're at almost 1.9 million. And more importantly, it's become more economic by the change of the grade of the angle of these veining systems. And now you have exploration upside. And so Serendipity is the first one we went out to, and we've got more than a dozen more on the property across 55,000 hectares. And to give you an idea is that the southern border is 30 kilometers long that we own at the deformation zone. So when we sit down these producers, they're like, wow, this is a different story. It's exciting. And they want big exploration. And a lot of these other junior companies are single asset mines that are on smaller properties. And that's not where we are. And at the same time, you've got Newmont selling Eleanor mine up north. It's only 57 kilometers north. You can truck it around. You can put a new road in at $1,600 gold. Maybe that wasn't the main objective, but at 26 and going to 3,000, I think that's a much more feasible idea. And you could see a lot more consolidation in the James Bay region. And that's how we're thinking it could go. What we're trying to do up north, it is to find more exploration upside, and as well on the Eau Claire property. And that's our goal, is to keep moving forward with that.
You mentioned it, the elephant in the room, $2,600 gold. It seems to be going up by the day. All the experts were saying, no, it's going to pull back to 22, 2,300, and then we're going to have to wait till Q1. But here we are, it's Q3. We're having this run up. How does the increased gold price change the appetite of the majors, and how does it affect Fury?
Well, I think the appetite of the majors, like I said, is every $100 that goes up is massive windfalls of cash to them. And they are madly paying off debt from what I hear. And that's what you should be doing right now. But there's going to be a point where it's going to catch up. So the longer we stay above, 2,500, I mean, it's just, at 2,200, we're killing it. I mean, a lot of these companies are basing their ASICs or average cost much lower. And I think that I think it's going to have a windfall effect on the rest of the industry. You just have to give it a little time to play out. And what I'm sensing is much more tension. And once this starts going, people will be scratching their heads how quickly, because they forget how small the junior space is. And there's not as many quality names out there that they think, and or with big land packages. So I think that it is going to come. I think if it stays above 2,600, it's just going to come sooner than everybody expected.
We haven't seen these prices before, and in a way it de-risks these projects because they've kept their ASIC low. But on the other hand, it makes people nervous, like, how long can this go on for, right? Well,
I'm in the camp that I think it's going over 3,000. I think that the U.S. dollar, is finally going to drop here with Fed rates, and it's been a pent up situation for a long time. Asia has been buying into gold, and along with the other countries, they're pounding it because they look at it as a geopolitical play as well. And I think it's sustainable, and it doesn't even have to be sustainable. If you still have this even if it goes down, you still have this massive cash flow, because it's been a surprise to the majors, and they've all been much more disciplined than in past decades about how they spend money. And so they're going to put it to use. They're not going to. I think the comment to me was, they tried to get tricky a decade ago and maybe put their dividends up or locked them into gold price itself. They're going to keep it simple. They're going to probably increase dividends a little bit, but more importantly, what they're missing is new discovery. And it's now they're going to have the budgets to go after it. And these companies are still really, really cheap.
So, Brian, my understanding, drill program over for 2024. Now we're expecting results, more additional results. Can you give us a recap of what we can look forward to?
Yeah, so the big ones coming out will be, we completed the biogeochem grid at Eleanor South. And if you remember earlier, I mentioned that we've proven that technique works at Percival and Serendipity now. So we'll be drill ready there once we get those results in, and then we'll just be permitting those colors. So, we could go back out in 2024, but it's likely we'll wait till, end of Q1 2025 to go out there and drill. And then we were also up at Committee Bay for a short program this year, checking out, following up on that hit from 2021 and, our new shear zone model and that. So we've got some geochem grids coming out of Nunavut as well. So it's been a few years since we've been back up there. So trying to generate some excitement up there and some new drill targets going forward there, and then new drill targets at Eleanor South.
All right. So we got a lot to look forward to. There's really a lot going on here.
Well, I think Kerry, we're super excited about this Eleanor anomaly. And when we get back the drill results, we're going to make a plan immediately to get back out there as soon as we can. We've got $2.5 million of flow through money that we've saved from the raise last spring, so we've got the cash to do it. And then Committee Bay, we get zero valuation in our stock. That's $180 million of investment. Don't tell me it's zero. And I went up there this summer. The land package is massive. There's millions of dollars in equipment. There's a full camp. There's a runway to get in there. That thing is a plug and play. And once these majors start moving, that's the kind of stuff they really want, and we're gonna get credit for it at some point.
Speaking of other opportunities, so we're still a large holder, Fury, still a large holder of Dolly Varden. Obviously, that gives you great optionality, gives you the ability to finance without doing raises. What's your thinking towards your Dolly Varden holdings?
Dude,
now?
I'm on the board of Dolly. We love Dolly. Sean Kunkun does a phenomenal job. They continue to move forward in their drill program. They just raised $32 million, so they've got a ton of money for the next year and a half. I think silver prices are going to rip behind the gold. They're $30 right now, and I've seen it go up to $50, no problem, in environments like this. So we're hanging on. We'll clip coupons as we need money, and that's what it's there for. It's not part of our strategy. It's a source of capital ultimately for the company and to leverage. And what I think it's allowed us to do is probably be the low on the street in terms of dilution. We've been around 3 to 4% for the last 3 years in a row. I think it's a huge advantage to investors because our share count is low on a relative basis, but we've been able to keep moving our projects forward, and that's how the Dolly is going to play. I mean, I think if you look around, there's very few silver plays, and if silver goes, that's going to be a popular name.
What's the enterprise value now of Fury minus the DV holdings?
I think once you take out our treasury, as we've also got some other securities, so it's probably around 15 to 20 million in enterprise value. It's it just can't stay that way forever. I mean, it's every time we sit down with investors, they're like, "How come it's so low?" I mean, you can point to arbitrage on the Dolly Varden shares, that it's kind of holding things back. Or you can point to the fact that people don't recognize what we've done with the project the last 3 years. We've been out marketing a ton. One investment by a producer into this company, and I think it's going to get recognized and things are going to take off.
I think so. Hey, finally, Brian, 2025, what targets are you most excited about?
Well, as Tim mentioned, the Eleanor South target, it's got all the hallmarks of being another Eleanor, geochemically, geophysically, geologically. We're just waiting on those last infill survey results, and then we'll be pining and chomping at the bit to get out there and drill that. By far, that's the most exciting target we've got in the portfolio.
All right, so I guess we will leave it at that. make sure you go to the company website and sign up for notifications so you can get the latest news. I mean, that's what I do, furygoldmines.com. And of course, the ticker symbol in US and Canada is Fury, Fury. And gentlemen, been a pleasure as always. Thanks so much for the update.
Thank you, Kerry. It's great to be here.
Yeah, thanks, Kerry.
The Financial Survival Network.